If you're looking to lose those last 10 pounds of stubborn belly fat, you have come to the right place. We all know the feeling. You've tried every diet. You're crushing it with your training. You're eating clean foods. You start losing weight in the beginning, but then all of a sudden you feel like, my weight's not moving anymore. I'm getting more cravings. My energy's not there, and I don't see those results coming that I'm looking for. Today, I'm going to be taking you guys through 5 things that you could start doing now to help you overcome a fat loss plateau. Whether you are vegan, vegetarian, perimenopause, postmenopause, it doesn't even matter if you're an athlete. These are going to help you get your results, take it to the next level, and lose those last 10 pounds of stubborn belly fat. If you guys don't know me, I'm Elizabeth with ElizabethAylorFitness. Go head over on Instagram and TikTok. Give me a follow. I am there on my stories every single day. And make sure to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. I got 2 new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. Everything on gut health, hormones, nutrition, and every Monday I go live for our weekly Q&A at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here are 5 things you could start doing right now to help you overcome a fat loss plateau and lose those last 10 pounds of stubborn belly fat. The first thing you can do to overcome a fat loss plateau is going to be, instead of snacking throughout the day, focusing on 3 larger meals. Hear me out on the science, okay? So every time we put something in our mouth, whether it be MCT oil, having a handful of cherries, you are spiking your insulin, and this is our fat storage hormone. People put food in their mouth over 19 times a day. If we're constantly putting food in our mouth, spiking our fat storage hormone, insulin, we are not allowing our body to dip into its fat stores and start burning that for fuel. Also, by snacking throughout the day, post-meal, around 3 to 4 hours post-meal, you have something called glucagon. Glucagon is almost the opposite of insulin. Insulin is your fat storage. Glucagon helps actually burn the fat. So if we're snacking throughout the day, we're getting our insulin high, which is our fat storage, and then we're not allowing the glucagon to turn on, so we're not dipping into that fat stores. Also, one more thing here, there is something called the migrating motor complex, and I'm a huge fan of this coming from someone with a lot of GI issues. I used to have SIBO, and what happens is if you're continuously snacking, around 90 minutes post-meal, you have something turn on called the MMC pathway. And if you put food in your mouth, it shuts that off. What that does is think of it as a cleaning out of your gut. It basically helps sweep out the bad bacteria, reset the gut, and this is needed. So by focusing on larger meals, we're going to be able to turn on the MMC pathway. That's going to help with our gut microbiome diversity. Also, we're going to be turning, not always spiking our insulin, so we're spiking it less, but also allowing our bodies to start dipping into the fat storage mode. So tip number 1, instead of snacking 6-7 meals a day like we're told in the bodybuilding industry, try doing 3 larger meals, stabilize them, carb, fat, protein. And let's go to our second tip. The second thing you can do to overcome a fat loss plateau and lose those last 10 pounds of stubborn body fat is going to be this, okay? Fast less. Especially as females, I find right now there's a big theme of everyone loving intermittent fasting. What happens is I find a lot of people end up going toward that 16-8 or even longer than that sometimes. The problem with that, especially as females, our hormones are different than males. If we're getting older as well, we have a change in our hormones, and doing too much fasting could actually cause our cortisol levels to increase. Our cortisol levels put us in that state of fight or flight response. That's when your body can actually just start storing fat instead of burning it. Also, by over fasting, what happens is you may start missing out on key nutrients and your calories. With you fasting so much, people tend to not get enough protein in, not get enough calories in, and this is if you're, 1,000, 1,300 calories, this is way too low, guys. And then you start getting cravings, and then you start losing your skeletal muscle mass because you're not getting enough nutrition there to support your metabolism. So instead of fasting 16/8 every single day, try doing 12-hour fasting. And maybe once a week or every 2 weeks, do a 16-hour to go to that autophagy. If you guys do want to know more about fasting, I have a whole playlist. I will put it below for you. It is my intermittent fasting playlist, and I have 2 incredible videos. One, everything on how to build muscle with intermittent fasting, your training, how to calculate your macros, how many days a week, and how long your fasting should be. And I also have one geared toward fat loss too. So go check that out. Again, it's my intermittent fasting playlist. But let's move on and go to our third tip. The third thing you can do to overcome a fat loss plateau and lose those last 10 pounds of stubborn belly fat is going to be this. Ready? Don't take your calories too low too fast. When we go on a fat loss phase, a lot of the times we tend to go directly to a 1,200 calorie diet. We add in a bunch of cardio, and initially, boom, we start losing weight. Fun little fact, for every 1 gram of carb, your body holds on to around 3 to 6 grams of water. So, you cut your carbs, you start losing a lot of water weight fast, you cut your calories, you add in the cardio, you start losing some body fat too. But what happens is our metabolism actually adapts. And the longer we are on a fat loss, you have changes in your leptin, your ghrelin, and even your thyroid hormones. So what happens is your ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, you start feeling more hungry, and your leptin, which is your satiety hormone, you actually aren't satisfied after your meals. So you may start getting cravings, not feeling fuller after your meals, and even our thyroid starts to slow down. So instead of immediately on a fat loss going directly toward lower calories, try tracking your food for a few days before you go into fat loss. See where you're at. And then start off with a small, maybe 300 calorie deficit with a little bit of cardio. Give it a few weeks and adjust off of that. Aim for around maybe 10% of your body weight in fat loss per week. And then if you guys have been on a fat loss phase for a while, there could be something that needed to be changed up, and that would be using things like carb cycling. Carb cycling is a great way to actually help kind of get our leptin, our ghrelin back on hand and keep our metabolism guessing. If you guys would like to know more about carb cycling, I do have a video on my channel all on how to do carb cycling, 2-day refeeds, and also full 1 to 2 week diet breaks and everything that I do with my clients. So you can go head over on my page and just search carb cycling and it should come up for you. And then put all of your questions below the videos, guys. I always go through and answer them for you as well. Now let's move on to tip number 4. The fourth thing that you can do to overcome a fat loss plateau and lose those last 10 pounds of stubborn belly fat is going to be, this is going to be a big change. You want to prioritize the strength training over your cardio. So many people make that cardio a priority and they go hardcore, intense, hit workouts, and they're like doing an hour. And I'm like, no, okay? You can do too much cardio. Everybody's body is different. I'm gonna give you a good example of this. For me, I'm a person that I do better with low intensity, steady state cardio. Something like high incline walking on the treadmill. If I do too much of HIIT workouts, intervals, my cortisol levels go up and I will actually start gaining water weight and going up a few pounds because of cortisol levels. You have to find what works best for you. But here's the deal. If you prioritize the cardio over the strength training, yeah, you're burning calories during the moment, but our whole goal, guys, when we're trying to lose fat, build our metabolism, and reach our goals with body recomp, we want the most lean muscle mass we can have on our physique. So make that strength training a priority at least 3 times a week, focusing on that progressive overload so we're able to build a lean muscle mass. This in turn, the more muscle you have, the less fat, the higher metabolism. And also as we get older, for all my females, going into menopause, our body, when our hormones start changing, we start losing skeletal muscle mass and we start not getting enough protein in. So by prioritizing the protein, not over fasting, and even making strength training really, really key, you're gonna be able to build more lean muscle mass, boost your metabolism, lose fat, and transform your body. So 3 times a week, and if you guys are looking for some great workouts, I have a whole playlist on my channel, and I even have it separated into upper body, lower body. I have dumbbell only, cable only. I have, kettlebell only. So if you're at home, in the gym, or even new to training, I have a workout for you guys as well. Let's move on to number 5. The 5th thing that you can do to overcome a fat loss plateau and lose those last 10 pounds of stubborn belly fat is gonna be this. You guys gonna love me. It's not second. The 5th thing that you can do to overcome a fat loss plateau and get you to lose those last 10 pounds of stubborn belly fat, well, I'm changing it up, guys. So it's actually thinking that you hit a plateau when you truly haven't. This is the truth. Our weight fluctuates on a day-to-day basis, guys. If you have a 4-pound increase in one day, you have to be eating 3,500 calories to gain 1 pound of belly fat. Body fat, sorry. And if you guys are just consuming, your normal calories, but the next day your body weight goes up 3-4 pounds, it's not because you ate, 15,000 calories. It's because there's something fluctuating in your body. It could be you had more sodium, you ate something that didn't agree with you, you had a really hard lower body workout, and you are sore, and we have inflammation from our muscle fiber breakdown. For all my females, you could be ovulating. So don't look at the scale and think because it doesn't move for a week or two that you hit a fat loss plateau and you need to make a change. Give it around at least 4 or 5 weeks before you really feel like, okay, nothing has changed. I don't see changes in my pictures. I don't see changes in my measurements and the number on the scale. So don't just look at the number on the scale. Take progress pictures, take measurements, and look at all 3 of those. And 5 weeks later or so, 4 to 6 weeks, if you still, none of those are moving and you see no difference, that's when you could say, okay, I hit a fat loss plateau. What do I need to do to make a change to get me back on track? And that's when you could start looking at your diet, over fasting, and all of these. But a lot of the times I feel like it's easy to just, we want to see that change on the scale every single week nothing's linear, guys. Fat loss is not linear, life is not linear, but if we're looking at the whole structure of it, which I have all my clients track their stuff, not just with measurements, we do pictures, I ask them how sleep is, stress is, all of these, so that I know what's going on, why the scale didn't move, if we actually hit a plateau, and where we need to make the changes. I hope you guys found these 5 tips helpful today. I want to know below if you guys have ever tried any of these out, what your goals are right now, and what you would like to see more of on my channel. Do you guys want to see more on hormones, more intermittent fasting, more gut health? Drop it in the comments below. I'd really love to hear your feedback because I really want to bring you guys everything to help you reach your goals. And before you get going, make sure to subscribe below, turn on those notifications, and I hope you guys are having a great rest of your day. And I will see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our weekly live Q&A. Love you.